Okay, got all the wood yesterday at the good old Home Depot for the gusset underneath the car, and I'm using pine 1x4, which is 3.5 inches by 3/4, and it's clear wood. And you say, wow, that's a lot of money, but you know, you can't have knots in it because it's gonna, you know, be not as strong. So a little bit more money, but I think it's worth it. They're cut 60 inches for a 10-foot car, comes out to 60 inches. Now, if you have a 9-foot car, you got to reduce it by a foot, or depending on what kind of trucks you use, you got to just determine it. But I'm using all 6-wheel trucks, so the original car, back to the old original one for my sample, it's 34 years old. Like I said, it's got a 60-inch gusset set. So I cut all the pieces. For each car, I bought one 6-foot piece and one 8-foot piece. That gives me enough material to make all the gussets and everything I need to make. And I got probably a little left over. So, first thing I do is I made a template of the end. This is actually upside down. It's going to be this way when it's on the car, right underneath. And then this is a certain angle. I don't know what that is. And it's about 34 degrees, so it's what it is 2.5 inches down by 1 inch over, and then from the edge here 8 inches, and I just made a template. And it doesn't really matter that much, but whatever you make it, you make it. And now I'm going to cut the angle on the end, so I've got this set up here. Alright, flip it over. I've already got them marked at the garbage can right underneath. And that gives me the first angle, and then I'm going to cut this probably on a table saw and rough it, and then I'm going to run it on I may run it on a joiner, but I'm going to probably wind up easing all these edges off sharp because they're kind of sharp, so probably wind up just hitting them with a sander just to rough them out. But cut all those, and then go on to the next step. It's easy enough. And just here, put it on here. Template. Mass production. Henry Ford. Don't need no CNC. Flip it over. CNC, I love it. Everybody thinks that's the miracle cure-all. Just set it up and do it. That's all. I don't even need to mark it. Okay, making up the centerpieces. They're just a 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch block of some of the scrap that's left over, and they, you know, gonna make a box effect down. The way I do them, when I put them in, I put the grain going up because they're such small pieces that it's almost guaranteed if you put the screws in this way, they're going to split on you. So I make them so they're upright like this, you know, standing up with the grain going up this way. I just set up a little stop, just a 2x4 with a clamp, and you know, you just take the piece and run it against there, chop it off. That's it. You can adjust it, go to town. Now I'm going to make the angle pieces because the way it's set up is like, say this is the piece goes like this, and then there's an angle piece that goes down. So I'm going to make the whole setup and whatnot now. So next phase, you set up like production line. My pieces there, next pieces, just like anything else. I need 2, 4 per thing, so I need 12. 2, 4, yeah, 12. So you got 2, 4, 7, 8. That's all what I got left over. This piece, and I made a couple extra center pieces in case they snap also, and just a couple extra pieces. That's it. This is all that's left over from the whole job. Okay, what I'm doing now is making the little gussets that go from each side, just to simulate it, gusset thing. But I wanted them all even, so I cut them. Of course, I cut them all to length with my stop that I had before, and I made up this little simple fixture, nothing fancy. Got a little handle here. They lay in here like this. Just like this. And I put an X on it, that's the one I want. And just run them through the saw. That's it. 12 of them. 12, 13, 14, I don't know, man. They made a bunch. Okay, and you can really, if you figure it out, you can probably get it so you split it down the middle, make it a little longer, this and that, all that scientific crap. I got a lot of extra wood, so why not? So now, I got this fixture, mark it, and, you know, and I know what it is, gusset. And sometimes I put the dates on there, my father taught me that. So today is 5, 12, 10. I don't remember when I did it. So when did I make that? Well, now I know. Okay, next case. Alright, I'm doing now, I'm cutting the angles. See that on the end there? To make it look like a little bit like a gusset. So come up with all kinds of brainstorms on how to do that, and the simplest way I find is to just, I made a masonite template again. I just line it up with my pre-cut angle 30 degrees or so, and I have 1-inch long screws here, and I just line it up, screw the template on. I could have clamped it, but the clamps would get in the way. Alright, and then just flip it over, let it hang off the bench a little bit, couple clamps on it. You know, so, okay, yeah, it's going to take forever. You know what? Forever comes, eventually comes. Right now, the one thing is you got to be careful that there's no screws hanging out, because the first one I did, it caught on the bottom of the plastic here. Now you just start it up. Again. Sure. Takes you longer to put the template on than it does to actually do the screwing. Actually do the drilling, the milling. Screw it. Got a little small holes that contain it. It's no big deal. Put some putty in there or whatever. No big deal. You can't mess up because the edges, the angles are already cut. If you messed up on the angles, well, then you mess up on this part. That's it. Another screw. Flip it over. Let it hang off the bench a little bit. Clamp it. And that's no big deal. Jed Clamp it. Remember him? Jed Clamp it? Beverly Hillbillies. Make sure it's not too high. You knock it down real quick. Along with the drive.